although I'm going to address the fact that I do think that marriage is not a domestic service contract, we're also going to talk about the bigger picture in this conversation. Where the hell did this gender norm come from that women must be in the kitchen? We're going to tap into that today because honestly, that's the more important conversation here. That's what I care about. Where did y'all get this idea from? And why are we still talking about it hundreds of years later?
What's up, y'all, man? This your boy MAZ. This your boy Mazo Capone. Now, today we got the feminist Kayla Nicole, and this is Travis Kelce's ex-wife, guys. Um, I really want to know how Travis Kelce dealt with this woman for 5 years. Listening to this woman talk, I wouldn't be able to be in the room with her for 5 minutes. But we gonna see what she got to say, man. So let's get on to it.
This man was married to Halle Berry. Let me pull up the stats. Hold on, y'all. Okay, just some quick stats. And actually, I'm going to play the clip too so that you can hear it from his mouth and not just from me trying to regurgitate the silly shit that he said. Because actually, I'm going to take that back because it wasn't that silly. When you listen to the full clip, what he's saying makes a lot of sense. And he's also being very accountable for who he was back when he dated or when he was married to Halle Berry. So they were married from 1993 to 1997, which is ages ago. I was 2 years old. Crazy to think about. And he is referring back to the decision process that he went through when he decided to leave Halle Berry. So listen to this clip.
It really wasn't a lot of negative attention until I decided to leave her in 1996. I remember Halle saying to me, hey, she asked me to marry her after knowing me for 5 months. I said, okay, because I couldn't say no.
I mean, yeah, who's going to say no at that time?
And I said, okay, but I don't know if my heart was really into it.
Right.
But I didn't want to make her feel bad and say no.
In the moment,
or like I was just in the moment. It caught me off guard. But I was like, cool, we getting along, we vibing. We're only 5 months in. We still in the honeymoon state. But we spent a lot of time apart because she was doing movies in this country, that country. We probably could have made it if I knew about therapy. If we knew about therapy, we probably could have made it because we never had any major issues like that. It's just that because I was young and had only been in, honestly, one real relationship before her, my knowledge and my understanding, my wisdom around relationships just wasn't vast. I'm looking at my mom, and I'm a Midwest guy, so in my mind, I'm thinking a wife at that time should cook, clean.
Traditional.
And then I'm thinking, okay, if we have kids, is this the woman I want to have kids with and build a family with? And at that time, as a young guy, she don't cook, don't clean, don't really seem like motherly. And then we start having issues.
There's a lot of lessons in this.
I want to point out something that he said that was very important. You know, all men think this way too. Because see, like when a man chooses to commit with a woman, he's gonna analyze whether this woman will be a good mother to his offspring. All men think like that, regardless to how women like it or not. All men think that way. We're gonna analyze whether you will be a good mother to our offspring, to our seed. That's how all men think.
Whole conversation is about how he's ridiculous for thinking the Halle Berry, the Monsters Ball, the Catwoman, people's sexiest woman of the year. How could he expect the Halle
Who
Berry
cares?
to get in the kitchen and cook when he could take his high yellow ass in there himself, throw on some Fenty Skims, and make Big Mama Halle Berry a sandwich? That's all that I'm saying. I just think that it's the audacity of men sometimes. You know what I mean? And the equating of she didn't cook, she didn't clean, and because of that, she didn't seem motherly. I want to understand how cooking and cleaning makes you a good mom. Not someone that's nurturing, not someone who makes sure that.
Isn't that part of a mom's duty, cooking and cleaning for their child? If a child's 3 years old, is the child supposed to cook and clean for themselves? I mean, she sounds ridiculous. It they always make it they it's always some kind of doom and gloom when it comes to doing anything for a man. That's how these women think, guys.
you eat. Maybe she doesn't cook, but she will always make sure that you're fed. Huh? That's not important to nobody. Someone who can turn a house into a home. That's not important. Someone with integrity, ambition.
Oh Lord, here's the part where she's trying to tell you what you should think is important. Not what you think is important. What she feels like you should feel like is important. They're always trying to tell us what to think. They're always trying to change who men are. No, that's not who we are. We're men. We want what we want. That's how we're designed. That is how nature designed us to be. They're always trying to tell us what we should be attracted to. They're always trying to tell us what to think. They're always trying to tell us that we can't have anything, but you're supposed to bring everything to the table. See, as a man nowadays, you're supposed to bring everything to the table. You're supposed to sit down, nod your head, and pander to women, and you get nothing.
Agape love. Those aren't qualities of a woman who could be a good mother. No, if she could cook or if she can clean. I don't know, you guys. I just feel like if you still live by this old adage of a woman needs to be able to cook and clean, you should get on Task Rabbit.
It's age and old, but just because she doesn't want to do it.
They got 150,000 women on there that specialize in cooking and cleaning. Hire them. Hire them. Like, because that's what you want. You want to hire someone. You don't want a partner. You want a slave. I'm so sick of hearing that same shit.
Oh Lord, yo, here goes that slave talk. Now you're a slave. Anytime that once again, guys, anytime that you have to do something that benefits man, that makes them a slave. Just because you have to cook for a man, that makes them a slave. As if they're not gonna eat too. Like when they start bitching about cooking for a man, they act like when after she cooks for the man, they have to go in a corner somewhere and just stand there and watch him eat. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But needless to say, if you listen to the full clip, he takes accountability. He owns up to the fact that the person that he was years ago is not who he is now. That they probably could have made it if he would have gone to therapy. And I agree, everybody needs to go to therapy. Y'all know how I feel about that. But I think that we need.
She's going to therapy because therapy is not helping her. I'm pretty sure that if she is seeing a therapist, it's a woman. All my fellas out there always get you hell, even women too. If you go into therapy, always let it be a man. Because those women who are therapists, they ass taking antidepressants too. They ain't got their shit together either.
To retire this conversation of, well, can you cook and can you clean? Stop going on first dates asking women that. Why is that the first thing out of your mouth? There's so many other things to.
Men don't ask women that on the damn first date. What is she talking about? That's something that over time, when a man decides to commit to you, he's gonna notice that you don't do those types of things. For the most part, men don't ask, do you cook or you clean? We don't do that. What is she talking about?
Concern yourself with than whether or not she has skills in the kitchen. I'm sick of it. I'm so damn sick of it. I'm so sick of it. We're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep talking about it because I want to break down the receipts. I want us to get a full understanding of the idea that gender roles did not just appear. Okay? They didn't just appear out of anywhere.
Just go ahead and say you don't want to do shit for a man. Just go ahead and admit it. Let's call a spade a spade. You don't want to do shit for a man. So here's what you do, young lady or middle-aged woman. Go get you a dude that you can get your rocks off with, and y'all just call it that. Make sure he's self-sufficient and he can take care of himself, and you can take care of yourself. Hey, y'all get together from time to time, and hey, swing like that. Because it's obvious that you're pretty selfish. You lack any kind of humility, and you don't want to do shit for a man. It's pretty obvious.
They didn't just appear out of thin air. The concept of women as homemakers and men as providers really became a thing during something called like the industrial era. Not to become super nerdy, but I did the research, okay? Because I wanted to know the facts. Why the hell do you guys still think this way? So, specifically, during the Industrial Revolution in the late 18th and 19th centuries, that's when this became a thing. Before that, both men and women worked, okay? Like just in different areas of the household. Women were not just in the kitchen. They were running the farm, they were managing resources, they were producing goods right alongside the men in tandem. You give 80, I give 20. You give 50, I give 50. Like, ooh, imagine that, guys. This is what was happening back in the day. However, the split happened when industrialization pulled men into factories and offices, and then basically that left women at home to maintain the household. So then you add in
What she's not taking into account is that there were no such thing as nannies at that time. There was no caretaker to leave at home with your children. So that's pretty much why women had to pretty much stay home and be the homemakers and take care of the kids and be nurturing and all that shit. See, that's what she's not taking account of. And besides, gender roles in the wild, animals have gender roles. So what is she talking about? This has been with us since time immemorial. Gender roles. This has been with us since time immemorial. This is a woman that doesn't know what she's talking about. And most feminists don't. You see, women like her, you can just tell that she doesn't really talk to men. She talks to other women that's just like her. And that's why she doesn't know anything. Because a lot of times these women, just like she has a podcast right now, most women, these little feminist minded women, they have podcasts, they don't really do well because a lot of times these women, they just be talking. They don't really know what the hell they be talking about. They're just saying shit. And then, sometimes they'll have these two women that are feminists that think just alike, and they'll end up falling out with each other as always, as predicted. But her, I don't really see her being having a successful podcast, man, because she don't really know what she's talking about. She's very pompous. She lacks humility. She doesn't really have much of a personality, and she's just very selfish. And women like her are annoying to be around. How did Travis Kelce end up with this woman for 5 years? I really think she was just his plaything for 5 years. Because he think about it, he was with this woman for 5 years. He within year one, he already knew that he wasn't gonna marry this chick. So from there on, 4 years plus, you can say that she was just his plaything. She was just his glorified side chick. That's all she is. A glorified side chick, guys.
into this entire conversation, this whole like Victorian era in history, where basically the idea is about femininity, the idea that a woman should be delicate and a woman should be nurturing. She should be, morally pure. That's when they were like nailing women to the stake, scarlet letters. You get where I'm going. You get the early blueprint of what the modern traditional wife was intended
Everything is
to
always
be.
a negative,
But the
guys.
reality is like there was never some like divine law that was all about like economic necessity and social control. Like there was no pen to paper saying that a woman's intent in this world was to make a steak. That wasn't our job. So if we really think back when gender roles actually started and when they were actually beneficial, back in the day, maybe it made a little more sense. But now we're living in a time where things have changed. Back then, it was like a pre-daycare, pre-DoorDash, pre-dual income world. And it actually made practical sense for one partner to stay home and manage the home life, take care of the kids, while the other earned their wages. Now, in this situation with little Miss Halle Berry and her husband, what's so crazy to me, some more research that I did, Halle Berry was working at the time. Had she won her Oscar yet? No. But she was working. Up until 1997, she had already accomplished. She was Miss Teen Ohio, Miss Teen America. She was the first runner-up at Miss USA. She was in Jungle Fever, the role that she played opposite of Samuel Jackson.
So
Great movie. She was in Boomerang. I know y'all seen Boomerang. Great movie. Eddie Murphy. She was in the live-action Flintstones, which I specifically remember watching. This was 1994, but I loved that movie down, okay? I loved it. And she was also in Losing Isaiah in 1995. Now, that's enough work for Miss Halle Berry not to be required to come home and clean up after a man. That's all that I'm saying. So even though he took accountability, she had done enough for me to still believe that, you know what, this is ridiculous that you feel like Halle Berry should have done that for you. So,
why not? You expect him to be who he is. Once again, guys, it's like these women's kryptonite to do anything that benefits a man. Anything that they have to do that benefits a man is always looked upon as negative, and somehow they're going to be a slave if they do anything that makes a man happy. So if a man has to be a well-to-do man, he's very successful and he's made himself into a six-figure man, and he gets with you, he can't get a damn cooked meal every now and then. I mean, this shit is crazy. You require him to be who he is, to be with you, but you can't cook him a meal every now and then. And for some odd reason, these women take that shit so literal. They actually think that they have to cook and clean every day. No.
sorry, sir. And what really blows my mind is imagine if Holly would have given into this mindset that this is what her purpose was in life, to take care of kids and men. Like, imagine if Holly stopped acting. Imagine if Halle Berry quit being Halle Berry so that she can make some freaking Parmesan chicken. I can't even come up with nothing. What do people cook? I don't even know what people be cooking.
She's a fucking airhead, guys. This woman is a fucking airhead. So now Halle Berry would have lost her career just because she would have been married to him and took care of her family. I think she probably could have did both, managed both. That that's how these women think, guys. That's how these women think. Once again, when it comes to doing something that benefits a man, it's always looked upon as doom and gloom. The more she talks, the more she proves my point. This whole time she talked, that's how she framed it.
In their kitchen. What if Halle Berry was like, I'm not gonna be Halle Berry anymore because my man wants me to be like his mom, which he also went on to the clip to say, you know, I'm looking for my mom. I'm from the Midwest and I'm looking like she's nothing like my mama. Exactly.
That's not what he said. Now she's trying to bastardize what he said. That's not what he said. She's being disingenuous. She's literally taking what he said out of context. That's not what he said. You know, because I understand what he said. Most men, when they commit to a woman, right, they give a woman their commitment, right? They're going to analyze this woman and they're going to see whether she's going to be a good mother to his offspring. That's what he meant by that. That's how all men think. That's what he meant. But now she just took what he said and bastardized it to fit her thinking.
Half your mamas don't do shit but cook and clean. Like, come on. Not every woman's purpose, and that's okay for your mama. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it's like, y'all, if y'all want to date your mamas, you could go and do that in like Oklahoma or something. They're out there. They're somewhere where they might let you date your mama, but we're not falling for that anymore. It just blows.
All right, all right. That's it. That's pretty much all I can take. That's pretty much all I can take from this woman. How did Travis Kelce end up with this woman for 5 years? I would not even be in the room to even try to listen to her for 5 minutes. This is one of these types of women that after sex you just don't even want to be around her. That's all she good for is sex. Now, mind you, she's a pretty girl. She's a pretty girl. I give her that. But there's not much beneath the surface, though. I mean, she's very shallow. I mean, I wouldn't say shallow, but she's very selfish. She lacks humility. She's very pompous. She's very arrogant. And these are just all turnoffs for men, man. But anyway, y'all, it's your boy Mazo Capone, man. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe, man. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I'm out.